Want to make your very own spooky bone fire pit and cauldron from Dollar Tree or pound store items? Well, stay tuned and we'll show you how. You will need some fake bones and a skull, some black spray paint, some expanding foam spray filler, and I actually used 2 cans of this Gorilla filler, and some orange or red lights. And once you've gathered all your supplies, you're going to need a large piece of cardboard to use as your base, and you're going to lay out all your lights and spray the insulation foam in between the lights, trying to avoid getting the expanding foam on the actual lights itself, just the wires. It's trickier than it looks, and you might want to cover the ends of your light bulbs to save them getting covered in expandy foam. I didn't, and it ended up working out okay. And while your expanding foam is still wet, you're going to take your bones and skulls and twigs and whatever else you're putting into your fire ashes and stick them onto the expanding foam, and this should be enough to hold everything in place. And once you're happy with your arrangement, you're going to leave that to fully dry, and then we're going to move on to painting it. Now that that's fully dried, we're going to grab the black matte spray paint and get spraying. Again, try to avoid spraying where your light bulbs are and your lights. You don't want to cover them with the spray paint. And when you're using spray paint, it's best to do light bursts rather than a lot of sprays, as it can drip. So just light bursts and keep the can moving. Also, make sure to do it in a very well ventilated area using old clothes and gloves, as you don't want to get spray paint on your body, your clothes, or inhale it. It's quite nasty stuff. So once you've got that all covered and you've got into all the nooks and crannies, it's starting to look a little bit spooky. But we're going to make it look more like a fire pit and more realistic by using some acrylic paints and some metallic paints and a dry brush effect. So for this you want as little paint on your brush as possible and no water, so just dip it into the paint, brush it off, and then brush it onto your fire pit. And this really gives that realistic ashy look and picks up all those gnarly details that the spray foam has created. So you're just going to go over your entire project, adding those white touches with the dry brush. Then I decided to go in with some orange and red and metallic paints just to pick up round the lights to make it look more fiery, and red is the heat of the fire. And here you can see that finished paint effect, and all you need to do now is to leave that to dry, and we'll be ready to create the final stage, which is our cauldron and stand. And to create the cauldron and stand, we're just going to use 3 sticks and a cauldron from the pound shop, which we've used some gold wax on, some spider webs, and some spooky lights. So once you've got that all decorated with your dry brush effect and let it dry, it should look something like this. And I hope you'll agree that it looks pretty spooky for a DIY Halloween fire pit made out of items from the pound store. It looks almost like one that you would buy in a store. At this point it began to rain, so I've had to bring it inside to set it up and show you the finished fire pit. I really hope you've enjoyed this quick, fun DIY and that you think it looks spooky. Hopefully it will scare some trick-or-treaters this year, and it will look fantastic when set up outside on Halloween night. A huge thank you for watching. This video has been part of the Halloween Autumn collaboration hosted by Crafting Diva Lisa, and there's lots of lovely crafting ladies taking part as well, and they'll be sharing their Halloween makes today as well, so I'll leave a link for all the channels that you'll need in the description box below. So if you want some more hauntingly good crafty inspiration, pop over to those channels. And if you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, thanks ever so much for watching, and happy crafting.